Computer. All right, so we're recording. So today we're going to talk about disclosing a loan in Freedom Mortgage. While you're watching this video on YouTube, just please be aware that this is my first time disclosing a loan in Freedom. So I'm learning this process as well. Now, granted, I did watch a training video about 30 minutes of a guy walking me through the process, and it did not seem hard. Couple key things that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to pull that up at the end, is the VA IRRRL checklist for Freedom. It's very easy stuff, and then we'll be able to get that into submission and close these loans hopefully 1 to 2 weeks with not so much processing time from the LOs there. So remember, don't run a US. I've already set the loan up to where he's getting about $200 cash back. So what I'm going to do now is export this loan, export the file, go into my downloads, cut the 3.2 file, go into his file and save it. Yes, replace that. So now that's there. So what we want to do is, now that we have that, I'm going to keep LendingPad open on my other screen just as a reference. Not a big deal. And here we are. This is the home screen of Freedom Mortgage. I've already logged in. So this is what the home screen looks like. So you got your pipeline, you got your forms and disclosures. We'll talk about that. You can either price a loan. This is where you go price it, or you click register loan and work through that process. So let's go to register loan. So automatically it comes up, we're a broker, which we are. Is this transaction a pre-qualification? It is not, and has a loan estimate previously been generated for this transaction. So what that means is, did we have this loan in another lender and it got, canceled in another lender? We're transferring it to another lender. For most of the time, we're only using Freedom for refinances. So that answer should always be no. So let's go ahead and click no. And then it says full loan registration. So we're going to select, we're going to upload our 3.2 file to them. So I'm going to grab my 3.2, drag it over, and click copy. And now it's asking for the application date. So let's put the day, because that is the day we did it. So it is a VA fixed 360 months because he wants a 30-year IRRRL. The loan product is VA 30, 25, 20 year. It's not a jumbo. No special program, no special features. Base loan amount, $203,500. Primary occupancy, it's not a repo. It's detached. We're doing a refinance. Documentation. Make sure you pick streamline refinance, because it is a streamline, right? You don't need all that extra documentation. You click full, it's going to assume that you need appraisals, you need all this other stuff. So make sure you click streamline. Appraised value, make sure all this came over. A refi cash out, the answer is no. We're not doing a cash out. Subject property free and clear, no. Type of refinance and interest rate reduction refinance, we're doing an IRRRL. First lien, we're just going to put none. Initial rate. So initial rate. So is that, I'm putting 275. And total loan amount is 204,517 because he has a funding fee. So make sure that if there's a funding fee associated with it, you include that in the total loan amount for him. He's not exempt, so let's include that. Interview date, we'll pick the day. Anticipated closing date. So the big thing on that, and most LOs know this, but for the junior LOs or the new LOs, I don't want to call you junior LOs, like that may seem kind of derogatory. We like to close IRRRLs either right at the end of a month or at the beginning of the month before the 15th. And there's a reason why we do that, right? You can't go out and say, hey, you can skip 2 payments. You can't advertise that, but you can set them up for success to where they can skip 2 payments, right? So if you close at the end of the month or beginning of the month before the 15th, preferably like the 10th or 11th, they don't have to make that month's payment. That'll be included in the payoff. So they won't make that month's payment because the loan closed. Then they get to skip the next month's payment, and then they're due the first mortgage payment 2 months after that. So it's very, very nice for the borrower. It makes them feel good. You set them up for success. They don't make 2 mortgage payments. It's good. So I'm going to say anticipated closing date, let's say the 8th of June. I think we can make that learning this file. So here it's asking us to fill out the previous loan information. His total P&I right now, previous loan purpose was a purchase, the previous loan amount. So the easiest way to find that is open up the credit report, go down to his mortgaged, and it has the high limit of what he started. That's what I do normally. So it was previous loan case file number. They're not asking for it yet, but we could put that in there if we wanted to because we have his COE. So what I'm going to do is open up his COE, and I have his original case file number. His previous loan current interest rate, you can find that on his mortgage statement, and it's and then previous loan terms was a 30 years, so 336 months. So that is the information on that VA comparison sheet. So I would fill that out in the front end so you don't have to go do it in the back end. And a lot of that stuff's required before we move forward anyhow. So, all right. So lender paid comp, we're always lender paid comp in Freedom, and our compensation is 1.5. So it tells you what minimum you can make and what your max is, but we can't change any of that anyhow. So verify all this stuff is correct, that it came over. And now it's asking for his 3 scores. Well, we have his credit report, so we can get his 3 scores. Power of attorney, no, we're not closing in power of attorney. And he is married per the 1003, so we're going to leave that. At least one contact phone number is required, so we already have his home phone number in there, so we're good. And then it doesn't look like his wife is on the mortgage statement at all, so we're going to leave that blank for now. Verify the property address. Correspondent loan officer, we agree with that. Use a contract processing, no. So a lot of these questions that they're asking us right now is a form that we would have to fill out in another lender and then upload it to them. So I'm really digging this right now. All right, so we're just going to leave all that stuff. Government monitoring, never say face-to-face. So let's say it was taken over email or internet, and all this is filled in, just verifying that all that's right, and additional comments. It looks like you can download initial submission document requirements here, but we already have it. So it looks like we're good. And then let's click verify information. See, make sure that everything is correct. I think it was, because we talked about it, and hopefully you guys would have told me something if I was doing something wrong here. And now I'm going to hit save and register.
Okay.
So now this should take us into actually going in, setting up the loan, pricing out the loan. And I will tell you, that's very easy. This was a very easy process to get this set up. They give you everything up front. So I really dig that.
All right.
So let's get it saved and registered here. And all right, so it says, boom, your loan has been successfully registered with Freedom Mortgage. So let's go down here and click on, I don't want to register another loan, so let's go to loan details. And as you can tell, this is the status of where we're at. Initial submission, loan setup, underwriting, all that stuff is done. So let's go to lock the loan. None, none. Let's get prices. And I'm going to go ahead and lock this on a 60-day lock today, because it just makes sense to lock this loan at the beginning, because it should not take us more than 60 days to close this.
So why 60 days instead of 30?
So that's a great question, and I asked this at the beginning of when I had my training at Freedom Mortgage, so fantastic question. So they don't want to do refis on 30 days. So they intentionally don't give you that option to lock the loan on a 30-day lock. So the minimum you can do is 15. Say that we're processing it, we're about to have CTC, boom, we're going to lock the loan and then close it in 15 days. Or you lock it at 60 days and then it's good until you close the loan. I am under the assumption that with our compensation and the way that rates are now, why not just lock them at the rate that you already quoted them? So, and it's actually, if you look at this, a 15-day lock is actually more expensive than a 60-day lock.
Huh.
So we're going to lock him at a 60-day because I think they're trying to push the 60-day locks on you.
Yeah, it is the cheaper option out of all of them.
Yep. So let's lock the loan. I've got so many emails to go through right now. They're just popping in my email while I'm doing this. All right, so here's the lock confirmation. Looks like you need to download it or all right, so return to perfect. All right, so the loan is locked. Let's go into loan estimate. All right, so let's look at his COE again because it's asking for branch of service. He was in the Coast Guard. He is other because he's none of those. So get and apply MI. Oh, I needed to click yes. Damn it. Hopefully I can go back to that.
What does that finance option mean?
So finance means that's built, that 0.5% is built into the loan. So I fixed it. We're at 0.5. It shows you right there. That's what the funding fee is. That's what it shows in lending pad. So we're good. All right. No, none of these are waived. We're not waiving those. So now we can go in and put in his information based on what we have in lending pad. We're doing 3 months. And county taxes are, we're doing 3 months. And we're going to hit save. All right, fee request. So this is what I was talking about when we were talking about the settlement agents and who we use and what. So they have it right here that we can just leave it Weeks in Irvine, or you can come in here and look to see if they have somebody that we use. We're using cooperative title, so let's see if they're in here. They are. So we're going to select cooperative title. It's going to be cheaper than $1,600 eventually, but we want to make sure that we price it a little bit higher, and we want to show cooperative titles being used. So we're going to select cooperative title. Did that make sense, Joe? A little bit for the attorney? Pretty easy stuff. They give you that little pencil. You can go in there and edit it, so forth and so on. So, all right. So cooperative title is there. Additional services, none of that. There is no transfer taxes, recording fees. All that looks great. So what we're going to do is come down here and hit apply to LE. And now we have cooperative title in our LE as the closing attorney. All right. So origination charges. There shouldn't be any origination charges because this is going to be automatically populated. There is no appraisal fee because it's a IRRRL. So we need to edit what the credit report fee is. It's $32.50, and the funding fee is already there. So here's what they have. They have section C already populated for us, which is fantastic. Section E has the recording fee, and now this is the one section that we have to worry about. So we need homeowners insurance premium for 12 months, and the total is, so we got to make sure that we put that there. And now we already figured out the initial escrows, so that's great. And this is what it's saying his total cash to close is. Now, it's saying that his cash to close is $42.88, and we calculated that differently in Lending Pad. That's fine. So once we actually get his official payoff, what we do is we say, listen, this is an estimate. Once we get your payoff, we'll adjust your loan amount, and then we'll increase it if we have to a little bit to cover your closing costs. So let's save and validate. And all these should either turn green or yellow. We don't want any reds. If there's a red, I was told you have to go fix it immediately. All right. So, for example, a third-party processing company must be approved prior to submission. We're not using a third-party processing company, so not worried about that. They're just saying maybe the lender's title insurance must indicate, so we're not worried about that. And then owner's title is optional, so they're saying, you know what, does he want it, does he not? Normally we don't put them on refinances, so not a big deal. So let's express preview the LE. Just to make sure it all looks good. No origination charges. That's fantastic. So that means there's no underwriting fee because it's waived, and there's nothing in there processing or anything. Credit report looks good. This is all cooperatives fees, which might be cheaper on the back end. Recording fees, homeowners insurance, we got that in there. So all this looks really, really good to me. We'll just have to adjust that cash to close as we get later. So we can click the Generate the LE button. And now it's asking us to put in the anti-steering. So loan with the lowest interest rate was 2.75. So for him to get down to 2.75, I would do that all day. Right. Loan with the lowest negative, so that's the same numbers, 2.75 at. And then a loan with the lowest total dollar amount, which was actually this one, so 2.75, and because everything else had a cost associated with it, and previous loan was a purchase. So we're going to hit submit. Generate loan estimate. All right, so we want to have it e-signed to him. So we're going to submit and send disclosure.
All right. It seems like Freedom has a very like smooth lined way of disclosing. Like it's just step after step, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean it's you fill out that front. Now for purchases, it might be a little bit different, right? Because there's some other things you have to make sure of, right? Your assets come over, any liabilities you're paying off,
Right.
any of that stuff. But for this, that's it. So there you go.
Oh wow.
All right. So what I want to talk about, and so that we can have this on video of me talking about it. And if you have questions, please ask it during this part. But this is the VA IRRRL submission checklist that Freedom provided us, and it'll make it easiest for us when we disclose the loans and or submit the loans. So current payoff or note or current mortgage statement. They need one of those three things. We have two of those things, so that's easy. Certificate of eligibility. That's very easy to get. Go into the portal. Make sure you don't select cash out. Fully executed 1003. Just has to be signed by the LO. Just upload it in the DocuSign and get it signed. The mortgage-only credit report or the full credit report. We have the full credit report, and we'll upload that as part of the initial submission. VA case number assignment. And I are going to make a video. Well, actually, going to make the video, and I'm going to sit there and watch him doing the case number assignment to Freedom Mortgage. And then the loan comparison statement is either a form that we have to fill out, or I filled it out as part of that initial thing. And then that's a homework question for me, so that'll be taken care of. And then again, for final submission, or if you want an early CD to go out, title commitment, HOI, nearest living relative. So that is the submission form for Freedom Mortgage.